Hi, YouTube family. Oh, looks like somebody's already on. This is awesome. So, hey, you guys. Just want to say good morning. Happy crappy hour to you guys. This is Thursday, our usual happy crappy hour time, Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. Let me see if I can get some of this glare off. There you go. It's a little better. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to get on. Oh, I see a couple on here already. Good morning. Oh, my eyes are not working great this morning. Lighthouse. So sorry if I have a hard time reading. Uh, oh, God bless you too. So good to see you on here. Oh, hold on. I think some other things are okay. Sorry, you guys. Just got to adjust my phone a little bit. Doing this whole, I wonder if I can get this thing so bright. Okay. Maybe back up a little bit. There we go. Ah, oh, here we go. Hi, John Bailey. Good to see you. Good morning. Michaela Gonzalez. Good morning. Good to see you guys. So, hey, welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. I see some new people here. This is so awesome. So glad to see you. This is a really good day. It's kind of nice and a little bit cool right now where I am. So so nice and refreshing. I want to give you guys a couple more seconds here to get on. We are happy. Yay! I'm glad to hear that. Oh, I want to share with you guys happy crap, our happies and crappies this week. So as other people are getting on, maybe you guys can share that. And I can start off with happy for me was this week I got to spend some time with people, with some friends. Traveled to Texas. Woohoo, Texas! So that was a lot of fun. Got to go tour around. My friends took me around to their around their town, and I got to see quite a bit. And I got to tell you, I love Texas. The weather was like perfect. They told me not to get used to it because it's supposed to get really hot in the summers, but it was perfect when we were there. It was so beautiful, and uh, anyway, we got to go to the botanic gardens, and as you can see, I really like flowers and plants. And it was so much fun. Anyway, it's good times with friends and, getting to know people better. It's always great. So that was my happy. And my crappy was my plane ride. Yeah. Hey, agriculturist, good to see you. Good afternoon. Yes, you're in Germany. So hi to Germany. That's so awesome. Um, Oh, Lighthouse. Oh, you're welcome. Lighthouse says, thanks for the informative videos. Yeah, I hope that it helps you to see the narcissist for who they are and see yourself in the truth. And I always feel like, the truth is not always comforting, but it does set you free. So that's my hope for this channel is to help people see the truth in their situation, see the truth in their relationship, especially with a narcissist. And when you do see that, you can come out of it. You can, yeah, you can heal. You can start to put away the lies and combat those because it's really hard to go against lies that are told to you, when you believe them and they become truth to you. That's one of the things I really don't like that's in our culture right now is people saying, what's your truth? You know, what, it's almost like saying, what's your reality? Your reality is different than somebody else's reality, which I can understand. Your experiences are different, but truth is truth and lies are lies. And that's the end of it. There may be some perspectives that are different. And once you see somebody else's perspective, you get to understand why they do what they do. Now, that's different than saying, your truth and their truth. It's not truth, it's just perspectives. Anyway, you guys, once you know the truth, then that sets you free. So yeah, I'm glad that the videos are helping you, Lighthouse. You guys, my eyes are not doing great this morning. I don't know if it's my contacts or what, but I'm having a hard time seeing. Can I ask a question? You a question, please. This is from Lighthouse. Yes, you may. John Bailey says, I hate Texas. That's where my narc is. Oh, no. Well, Texas is pretty big, so there are lots of other cities maybe that you can like. Oh, so Lighthouse, I'm going to give you a second here. Oh, here we go. Hold on for 1 second. Giselle, good morning. Good to see you here. Thanks for, it helps me understand and feel better. Oh, I'm so glad. Glad to hear that. Lighthouse says, how to deal with flashbacks. It hurts a lot. Oh, yes. Okay, we can talk about that, definitely. Let me just get to a few other. Crystal Jean, good morning. Jennifer Clayton says, oh yeah, flashbacks suck. How to deal with flashbacks. That's going to happen. Let me ask you though, are you talking about flashbacks of good things that make you miss the narcissist, or flashbacks of the abuse and the pain that they caused? If it was physical or mentally, mental or, yeah. So depending on which flashback, you want to use different tools. Um, I don't know that you can cure yourself from flashbacks just because those are triggered a lot of times by our other senses. When we smell something that reminds us, or when we hear a song and it reminds us, or you're just laying in bed and you're, for no reason, the picture pops into your head and you're like, oh, what do you do with that? Let me see if you have if you have some clarification here. Of course, the bad things. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what Lighthouse is talking about. Crystal Jean says, yeah, they really suck. They do get less and less, I promise. Lighthouse says, there's no good memory with them. Jennifer says, pain, bad, traumatizing things. Okay. I can work with that because the bad traumatizing things, the way you deal with that, and it does get a lot less. And let me tell you, I'm not sure if this is accurate or true for everybody, but my flashbacks of the really horrible times are almost non-existent now, which is great. I think it comes with healing. It comes with getting to know the truth, which is what I hit upon at the beginning here. Um, Flashbacks, when they're the devastating abusive ones, what you have to learn is trust in yourself, and you have to really clean house. I'm telling you, you got to really clean your soul, your heart, your mind of all the lies that were told to you, including the abuse you took. Like if you were beaten or anything like that, you probably believed that you deserved it. And that's a huge lie. Okay. So that's where you have to start. You have to start with identifying all the lies that the abuse taught you, all the lies that you took on because of the abuse. Anything that's degrading, anything that tells you you're not enough, anything that tells you that you deserved it and that you'll never get anything better than this, those are all lies. And one of the things you need to do is to write down those lies and spend some time. I mean, it's going to be quite painful, but you need to write down these lies. But it's also empowering, because once you write down these lies and you see them on paper, this is what I want you to do. I want you to say those lies. Like say, I'm ugly. Okay, that's a lie. So if you write down that lie and you say, because the narcissist told you you were ugly, write that lie down and now say that lie in your mind, not in reality, okay? Say that lie to somebody you love. Like picture somebody you love. You can't do it, right? You can't tell somebody you love that they're ugly. You can't tell somebody that you care about and you want to protect that they're ugly, or that they're not good enough, or that nobody will ever love them, or that they deserved to be beaten. You can't tell that to somebody you love. And here's the point. You need to see that it should not be told to you either, because you are worthy of being somebody you love. So that's where I want to start with you, Lighthouse. Try that, because every time a bad thought starts coming into your mind, it's because it's attacking your vulnerabilities. It's attacking your fears and your yeah, where you're weak, your weak spots. That's where those bad thoughts come in, the flashbacks. And when you're farther away from that, when you're more confident in yourself, when you've forgiven yourself, when you've put away shame, you're going to feel like, those thoughts can't attack you anymore, and those thoughts will stop coming back at you. Those flashbacks, it is quite amazing. That's what I wanted to share with you about that, because I'm thinking about that. When was the last time I had a thought or was taken back to the abuse that I suffered? Um, I really haven't had that issue in a few years. Now, there are other lies that have come up. They're not flashbacks, but they're lies that I've accepted that have surfaced, that tell me that I can't do this. I'm not going to be successful, or I'm not as good as this
Mhm.
other person. Those types of lies have come up for me, but not as flashbacks anymore. Now those lies surface, and I have to address those individually and directly, and pretty much shun them and say, get out of here. I don't believe those lies. So you guys, let me see what's going on here. I'm missing um, few comments. I'm not sure where I am. I have to scroll, you guys. This is why it takes me a minute. Yeah, they really suck. They do get less and less, I promise. Oh yeah. Um, pain, bad, traumatizing things. Okay, Jennifer, yeah. You're right. Even the good memories are bad because they were fake. Yeah, and the thing with the good memories is they pull you back in, though. They tantalize, and they try to pull you back into the abusive situation. So that's why we treat them a little bit differently. But they are lies. You're right. Um, and even the good memories. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Clean house is right, is what Crazytown production says. Uh, okay. Clean your soul of the poison and false narrative this person tried projecting in you. Yep. Sorry, you guys. I can't. My eyes. I wonder if it's my contacts. Having a hard time reading this. Let me see. Crystal Jean says, one of my favorite things about my husband, excuse me, was that whenever we went to a wedding party or vacation, we'd have so much fun dancing all night. He recently told me he hated that. He was just doing it to appease me. It was all fake. Ah, ah, that sucks. Jennifer Clayton says, thank you. Crazy Town Production says, they fake happiness just to be the center of attention. um, Crazy Town Productions. By the way, we're not connected. For those of you who are not familiar, or this is your first time on my Happy Crappy Hour, Crazy Town Productions and Escape from Crazy Town. We just happen to have that in our name, but it's pretty funny that way. What a coincidence, right? Narcissists need you to stop believing in yourself, so you are easier to manipulate. Exactly, exactly. And they tear us down because of the projection. This is how they really feel about themselves, so they project it onto us until we start to feel it, till we become as miserable as they are. Christian Jean says, and trust me, he had a big smile on his face and looked like he was having a blast. All a performance. I was truly dancing by myself. Crystal Jean, I wouldn't exactly believe that either, because, you really can't trust a narcissist even when they tell you, oh, that was fake and I was just doing it to appease you. That's BS. Like right now, he's trying to hurt you, right? At that point when he was telling you that, he was trying to hurt you and make you feel like you were dancing by yourself. Trust me, in that moment, the narcissist was there. But unfortunately for the narcissist, moments come and go, and then they don't um, they don't build on their moments. They just trash it. It's like all recyclable to them, unfortunately. But for that moment, sorry, you guys, I have like allergies or something happening to me here. Um, so yeah, in that moment, he was there. Jennifer says, nothing was real. That is a tough thing. Yeah. It's real for that moment, but that's it. That's the thing with a narcissist. Today's topic, you guys, I am so far off topic, but today's topic I wanted to talk about, and maybe we won't, maybe I'll change it. But I was going to compare the narcissist to other people. And the reason for that, and I'll tell you this in a second, let me take a drink. Okay. Reason for that is because, oh, you guys, you're coming up with other questions, and okay, I should address those instead. Let me just read a few more comments, you guys. I'm sorry about this. If you're waiting to hear the topic, Crazytown Production says, Crystal, they are great actors. Yes, they cheat themselves out of true happiness. Absolutely, I agree with that. Janine says, good morning, by the way, Janine, good to see you. Please talk on being an empath and an alpha. So if the empath is an alpha or the empath is with an alpha, if you can clarify that, that would be great, Janine. Crystal says, Crazytown Productions, exactly so sad. Yeah. They act happy, but are full of resentment, is what Crazytown Production says. My topic today has a lot to do with what we're talking about. And I'll give you an example right away. Excuse me. Yeah, my allergies. I took an allergy pill, but we'll see what happens. Sorry, you guys. I'm just like, trying to stop from sniffling. Okay, so I watched this movie. It was called Cézanne and Me. It was a French movie about the artist, right? The Cézanne. And he was coming out, I think he's an impressionist or right around. So it was the story of his life. And in his story, what they had was, they showed it from starting from boyhood, how he made his other friends, probably starting around middle school age to until he dies. So in there, it talked about, or it showed some of the women who were his muses, right? Who he painted, and women, of course, that he cheated with. And one of the scenes I remember that really stuck out for me is the woman that he had been with for years. And I believe they even had a child together. And I believe she was pretty much equivalent to his wife. He never married her, but those in his life were asking him, like, why don't you marry her? She's essentially your wife. And one day he has a fight with her, or she has an outburst. And the outburst was about, she said, she's not real to him, that his paintings are more real to him than she is. So even, she said, the painting of her that he has been working on, was more real to him than she was, who was, laying there 8 feet away or 10 feet from him, was still not real to him. And that kind of made me think that, this is kind of the way it is with a narcissist. Their picture of us is more real than we are to them. The picture that they have of us is what they fall in love with, right? There are some things about us that, of course, catches their attention right away. And then from there, they build this picture. They paint this picture. They take parts of us and put it onto this picture. And then they adore this picture. They fantasize about this picture. They're passionate about this picture that they have created of us. And a lot of that picture, of course, it's depicting us. It's a lot of our characteristics that they've put together into their work of art. All right. So they're so passionate. They're in it. And this is why I was telling you, I think it was Crystal Jean who said that you were dancing together. He was there. He was there dancing with the picture of you. That's what I'm trying to say. He was there enjoying that picture of you, with you, doing the things that were exciting to you. And at that time, at that moment when they are so into you, they they can be passionate. They are like, all enveloping. They're all in. And it's because they're kind of enveloped in this picture. But the reason, though, you're just a picture to them, and then when they deal with you in reality, it's so different for them because they they can't deal with the real you. A picture doesn't talk back. A picture doesn't have needs. A picture doesn't have moods, right? A picture doesn't change over time. It stays exactly the same. And that's when the narcissist starts to fall away, starts to disengage, is when the picture starts to fade and the real person becomes more prominent in their life. And they can't deal with the real person because a real person requires interaction, requires growth, someone to grow with them, requires someone uh, to become stronger with them, and also maybe become the strong person when you're feeling, when you're weak, and then you're stronger when they're weak, the back and forth. The narcissist cannot deal with that, not for a long period of time. So they would rather fall in love with just the picture. And once the picture no longer is the center of their of the relationship, and obviously it's not really a relationship, right? Because you can't have a relationship with a picture. But once that picture is no longer the primary source of their joy or their attention or whatever it is, and you become the center of it, you become the person who's prominent and the picture starts to fade, that's when they want another picture. That's why they wander. That's why they are never fully satisfied. So, comparing them to other people, this is the cool thing. Okay, you know how in pictures, paintings, there's so many vibrant colors. I like the vibrant colored ones, obviously, but you can use all these beautiful colors to put into your picture to make it passionate. Now, for a narcissist, unfortunately, it gets stuck and it stays only on the canvas. It never comes to life. It just exists only for that moment of time. It only exists when that picture was created, and that was it. Maybe the artist could add a few more brush strokes if they want to, over a period of weeks, months, but it never comes to life. No matter how many colors they put in there, no matter how many brush strokes, it just never comes to life. Now, here's the thing with real people, we can add color to our life. We can add color by being with good people. And oh, I wanted to talk about this. This is my happy. If you guys are just coming on, my happy this week was that I got to go to Texas and spend some time with some girlfriends. And we had a really great time. And it was positive, it was uplifting. We also shared some intimate things, some trials, things that are going on in our lives. And that was good for bonding and, bringing us together and deepening our relationship. And to me, those are brushstrokes. Those are colors that are added to our picture of reality, though. But it's reality. It's not just a picture. That narcissists can only live on a canvas, but we get to live in life, in reality, where the picture continually changes. And it all depends on what we add to it. It depends on what kind of people we add to our life. It depends on what we do in our life. And it depends on what we learn, right? As we become better people, as we evolve into the people or the person that God intends us to be, or that we were born to be, and that we want to be. So that's the awesome, wonderful, beautiful news about us versus what the narcissist is. So, comparing the narcissist to a real person, even though the moment you spent with them on that canvas was so much fun, had so much passion, had dancing around with them, or you're singing karaoke with them, or you're on a vacation with them and you're sightseeing or running around in adventures, bungee jumping, you're kayaking. It's just, so much fun. And you're actually in life, adding brushstrokes to your life. Meanwhile, they're just adding brushstrokes to this canvas. But the more they add to the canvas, the more cluttered it becomes because they don't change. They don't they don't evolve. They don't become something better. It just becomes more cluttered. And all the ugly strokes that were on the canvas remain on their canvas and it doesn't change. So the more you do with them and the more you get out, and they start to resent you because it feels to them like now they're being cluttered, they're being chained down, they're unable to get away from this canvas that they've created with you. Whereas we evolve, like good things come in and we try to keep those in. Bad things come in and we get rid of them and we change and we turn away from it, or we address it so that it doesn't stay. Anyway, you guys, that's the difference between being with a narcissist and being with a real person. Unfortunately, with a lot of real people, it's very hard to get them to be colorful. It's very hard because a lot of us walk around wounded. So we're not as vibrant and immediately eye-catching as a narcissist, possibly, right? So we try we have to try to bring it out in people, though. We have to try to bring out their colors and their joy and their humor and their confidence. When you start to bring out the confidence in a person, you start to see their creativity. You start to see how beautiful they are. And this is built over time with people. With a narcissist, it doesn't work that way. You don't build over time. It's all at once. Like the picture is a snapshot and it's taken in that moment, and that's the way they want to keep it. Whereas the rest of us, we live in a life where people are coming in, people are leaving, people are depositing good and bad in our life, right? But in those cases, we get to choose what we keep and what we want to get rid of. And that kind of brings us back to the topic at first that Lighthouse was talking about, is these flashbacks of the bad things, right? That have happened. That's the bad that the narcissist tried to deposit into your life. Those are the brushstrokes, right? That they put on your canvas. But the good thing is we have a moving canvas. We have a living, vibrant, biological canvas. It's not just a snapshot. It doesn't just pile up and pile up unless we allow it, just like the narcissist allows it. Unless we allow all the bad things that people are depositing into our life to stay, it can't stay. We get to choose what stays and what goes. Now, there are things that we've accepted mentally or psychologically or subconsciously. Those things we're going to have to address. And that's why I say you have to clean house. You have to go into every room. You have to clean out every lie that was told to you, all the negative beliefs you have about yourselves. There's something called automatic negative thoughts. And I think just about everybody deals with this. Even positive people deal with this. And what you do with those automatic negative thoughts is you have to capture them and toss them out, like just throw them in the garbage because they don't help you. If these are automatic negative thoughts that tell you you cannot, you will not, there's no good future, or, it's all negative in that way. It's destructive, negative thoughts. Now, there are thoughts where it's like, oh, stay away from this person. That's a warning thought. That's not just a negative thought. You have to heed that. You guys, I am so far behind with some comments. Let me check out and see what you guys are saying. Let me see where we are. If a man would change his religion to marry you, do you view that as love or a red flag? Oh, well, yeah, if they're changing their religion just to marry you, that's not a great reason to get married. You want to see them actually growing and developing on their own a desire to have this faith. Like, are they meeting with people regularly and are they excited about what they're learning? Are they in studies? Are they getting into, if it's Christianity, are they getting into a Bible? if it's Judaism, are they getting into the Talmud? Are, are they, what are they doing to learn? What is it enlightening to them? Is it exciting to them? Um, yeah, you got to look at all their patterns, not just the one thing that they do. Now, they might change their religion because they see something in you that's like a light to them, and they want to know why, and this is for regular people, normal people, okay, not just narcissists. um, and a normal person might see a light inside of you because of your faith that gives you confidence or gives you joy. It's grounding you in reality, and they're like, wow, you seem like there's something inside of you that just draws me to you. So they could be interested in your religion because of that. And if they're building on that and they find out for themselves, well, what is this religion about? Then that's different. If they're just following you around and saying, sure, sure, whatever you say, then that's not a really good thing then that they're following you. Crazytown Production says they will throw up in your face all the things they ever did for you, things you never asked them to do. They do it to use it against you. Yeah. Jennifer says, mine played house, played church, and played me. Yeah. Well, what they do is they take on our life, they take on our lifestyle. So, like you said, they're playing all these roles in your life because probably at that time they didn't have much going on in their own life, or they were very unsatisfied with their own life. They wanted to try you out. It's almost like trying out some clothing, right? To see if it fits, see if they enjoy it, see if they like it. So they'll try it out for a while. That's a really good analogy, actually. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. Um, yeah, Crystal Jean says, Lighthouse, that is a red flag if they change their religion for you. Yeah, if they're doing it for you, but if you inspire them to investigate the religion further, you inspire them to grow, they want to seek it out for themselves, that's a little different. Jennifer says they are like wax figures. Yeah. And I'm sorry if I'm not reading my eyes are not a Harry. Okay, good morning. They can be very spiteful. Yes. And Crystal Jean says, escape, I get you. Yeah, in the moment, but when it's gone, it's forgotten. Yeah. Yeah, it's forgotten, except for the things they do for us, right? Oh my gosh, I wanted to go back to that. They always remind us of all the things they did for us, but the funny thing is, they don't remember anything that you did for them. Yeah, I'm just floored by that. I just like, okay, that makes no sense. So that's another crap thing that you do not take on. You're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You did this for me. I thanked you for it. I appreciated it, but I also did things for you. This is a give and take, back and forth. And we continually grow with that, and we appreciate each other for that. The ideal relationship, I want to tell you, this is something I feel like my husband and I have, which is beautiful, and I love it. And I want to tell you it exists out there because I know this exists. This exists for other people. The ideal relationship is when you remember, each of you remembers what the other person had done for you. Yeah, that's it. You each remember that. You both bring this into the relationship. And there'll be times that you'll feel taken for granted or you'll feel neglected, but that's a lie. What you have to do with that, though, is come to each other, not when you're high on emotion and frustrated and angry, but come together and decide, what am I going to do to solve that? What am I going to do to solve this feeling that I'm being neglected? Well, I'm going to spend time with my husband, right? I'm going to, you know, turn off the TV. I'm not going to be the one to have my face on in my phone when he comes home. If I'm feeling neglected, maybe part of it is because I'm contributing to that. So what can I do on my side to change that situation for myself? And so these are things that I've done. So I would have to turn off my phone, or I'd have to turn off the TV And I look at my husband and I say, I'm really feeling disconnected from you right now. And part of that sometimes grows into feelings of neglect. And it's not even neglect, it's that I've isolated myself through technology, right? Through social media, through entertainment, watching TV, movies, and stuff, or TV shows. I'm doing it to, I'm not helping the situation. Let's just say that, okay? I may not be doing it all to myself, but I'm not helping the situation. So, yeah. Um, the best thing is, so the point is, the best thing is when you realize or you think about and in moments like that when I'm feeling neglected, I think about all the times my husband didn't neglect me, all the times he did so many wonderful, beautiful things for me, all the times he was considerate of me, you know, um, and then I'm like, oh, this feeling of neglect, it's a lie. It's just my feeling right now, and I can fix that. So, anyways, you guys, when you think about the other person and the other person thinks about you, is considerate, you're considerate towards each other, you're respectful towards each other, you're both coming into the relationship and doing this for each other. It's just a really beautiful, wonderful relationship to be in. So that's our goal, right? Jennifer says, the empath being an empath, clarifying. Okay. She, I'm sorry, Jamie, Janny. Sorry, my eyes are, I'm telling you, my contacts are kind of blurry and I don't have my glasses nearby to switch out. So sorry if I'm getting your names wrong, you guys. Yeah, she was asking earlier to talk about empath and an alpha. And a lot of times that's kind of the narcissist relationship, is they're the alpha in your relationship, even if they're not the alpha outside of your relationship. That's the crazy thing, because they're very controlling. And the empath generally can't is not controlling, or let me say that differently. They're controlling in different ways, but the two clash tremendously because of the emotional control each has. Like the empath wants to make everything peaceful and get along, and let's just make sure this works out. But there are empaths that also have ups and downs emotionally, right? Um, and I'm going to I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more. But also, there's so many versions of this together that I'm having a hard time thinking about the specific one that you might be experiencing. So, if you can tell me a little bit about your relationship and what was going on with that, I that'd be more helpful. But the alpha generally wants things their way, wants things to get done, wants, and I witnessed this kind of recently as well, that, you know, an empath is so caring and wants to get things done as well, but they might not be as directed. They might not be as focused on the end result as the alpha is. The alpha is focused on the end result. Let's get there as fast and as efficiently as possible. And the empath is kind of more easy going, flowing, things will distract them. They'll get into other tasks and forget about focusing on the thing that the alpha wants them to deal with. We're dealing with, actually, you're kind of crossing apples and oranges, because an empath can be an alpha can be empathic. So but generally speaking, if we're talking about a controlling person and a person who is more relaxed about things, they enjoy getting things done and they want to get things done, but they're just not as focused as an alpha might be on that. Crazytown Production says, I think she means that anyone treats you better than a narcissist. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Did I miss something here? Okay. Vibrant Spirit, hi. Sorry, I'm just having a hard time reading. My contacts are very blurry this morning. It could be because of the allergies. Crystal Jean says, I actually do act, and when I would have him read lines with me, oh, he would act the lines like really, really well without rehearsing. And I told him, you're a natural actor. Yes. Yes. Narcissists are natural actors because they can tap right into that passion, right in, like their emotions are not far at all from the surface. You were right about that. Um, who is this? Agriculturist says, is it possible the narc was normal or is normal to other people and only narcissistic with me? How can I tell the difference? Ooh, they are, you know what? Narcissists are normal. I mean, I'm sorry, they're not normal like we are normal. They can act normal. They behave, they know that if they become and act the way they actually feel at the moment, they're not going to get the result they want. So they can put on a persona, they can put on whatever personality will fit the situation. If it's a work situation, if it's going out with people they're not familiar with, they can do that for a while to draw people in. But they can only do that for a certain period of time. And if the covert narcissists really aggravate me because they can carry on a relationship for years. I wouldn't say that they could carry it on. Well, maybe they could. I haven't been married to one ever or had a romantic relationship with a covert. I've only had a friendship with a covert. So we were not around each other 24/7. We were around each other, and we weren't like everyday type friends or every week type friends. We were maybe once a month type friends, or even less. There would be like 5, 6 months that that would go uh, by and we wouldn't interact. So our relationship lasted for years. And with the covert narcissist, boy, you would think they're very normal. You think like, oh, they only show you the best part of them and they only tell you how others have victimized them. They've never hurt anybody else. People have only hurt them. And so you believe this, but the weird thing is if we pay attention, and this is talking from the outside, you're asking, does the narcissist act differently around their victims? Now, I don't think I was a victim of that narcissist, not at first anyway, not for the first decade of our friendship. Um, I was just a fan club, right? I was just one of the people who saw them very infrequently and thought, oh, this is a good person. This is a nice person. And, boy, a lot of tragedy keeps happening to this person. And that's another thing. If I were more attentive, if I were more, well, I didn't know about narcissism at that time, but if I had known, I would have thought, wait a minute, how come they're always the victim? How come there's so much drama in her life all the time? Like everybody in her life is always a disaster, but she's the one who is not the disaster, right? She's the one who seems to be the rock in every relationship she talks about. And when I look at her, I think now, oh my gosh, she was not the rock. She was this crazy town psycho. And everybody who was close to her, intimate with her, that is, like family or people who had to live with her or her spouse or her boyfriends, um, they got to see the real her. And then I could see the results on them. I could see how crazy they became. Anyway, it might look like from the outside, like I was on the outside, like they're normal. But she behaved pretty normally with me, but then she was very crazy with the people who were closest to her, those who had to live with her, those who were married to her. She was the craziest with them. But with people outside, you're right. The narcissist behaves like they're normal. But if the people on the outside would pay closer attention, we can see that they're not normal. We can see that, this is strange how one person has so many dramas going on all around them and with so many different people. So the common denominator is her, right? Was her. So that if we were pay attention, we would catch it. Crazytown Production says, do you think that's why they have pornography problems? Okay, I am missing some things here. Is it possible the narc was normal? Okay. They aren't people to them. So ourselves, but not the actual us. I'm sorry, I'm not really catching what our attributes. Okay. So they fall in love with our attributes, not actually us. Yes, exactly. That's it. That's Jennifer was saying in response to my comment about, they fall in love with this portrait of us, but they don't actually fall in love with the person, because a portrait you can fall in love with. You can, it doesn't talk back. It doesn't have you don't have to do any, you don't have to feed it. You don't have to pay attention to it. You don't have to, you don't have to do anything, right? And it just sits there and looks pretty. Yeah, they fall in love with our portrait, with our attributes, but not with us. Do you think that that's why they have, okay, Crazytown asked about them having pornography problems. Oh, yeah, that they're distant. Actually, that's the crazy thing. I had um, a friend who's a narcissist, and I remember him saying that he has no problems whatsoever with pornography. But that was because he said he could get it anytime he wanted. uh, but he would go to strip clubs. And so I'm thinking, you do have a problem with pornography. You do have a problem with attachment to people. And as he gets older and as that becomes no longer, is it a resource for him? He'll become less and less attractive, and there will be less and less opportunity for him to have real people to have sex with. He probably will turn to pornography, would be my guess. And then also I think that he wasn't telling me the truth, that he had no problems with pornography, because he wanted to act as if, well, all these other men, they have problems with pornography, but I'm special, I'm strong, I'm different. So, anyway, so I don't know how much I can trust what he was telling me about himself. um, yeah, they do have problems with pornography, but a lot of people who are normal also have addictions to pornography. It has to do with your ability to attach to people, your ability to have intimacy, deep intimacy with another person. Um, Unfortunately, pornography takes away from that. So even if you're the kind of person who can have deep intimacy, emotional intimacy, that is, spiritual intimacy with another person, even if you can do that, pornography steals you away from that. And I wanted to let you know that. And pornography is enticing. It pulls you in. There's hardly any work. You don't have to really work at this, right? You don't have to have a relationship. You don't have to build up to them wanting you. You don't have to pour any energy into your relationship with pornography, right? And I say that very loosely. It's not a real relationship, obviously. Um, Agriculture, okay. Crazytown Production says agriculture, that's the illusion they want you to believe. Lies to get you to feel less about yourself and more isolated. Or it's that they hurt the ones that are the nearest and dearest. Yeah. But you know what? You don't even have to be a narcissist to hurt the people who are closest to you. It does happen because you're yourself. You get to be yourself. You're comfortable. You know that with the person who's closest to you, you can share even your ugly, areas in your heart. And but what we need to learn, though, is not to give into when our emotions are destructive, and not to, we can't give into striking out at the people closest to us. And you know what's interesting? It's not even the people closest to us. Say you're having a bad day, right? You walk into a coffee shop and the clerk or barista says something to you, and if you're already irritated and you're already mad, and the barista you think is asking you too many questions or didn't hear what you said in your order or messed up your order, you might lash out at that person, and that person isn't even close to you. They're not even um they're yeah. So narcissists have a harder time dealing with maintaining respect for another person. But we all can work towards that. We all can work towards, whether you're a narcissist or not, towards, does this person deserve my lashing out? No, they don't. And even if they did, does lashing out really help the situation? Will it make it worse? So we have that cognitive ability to change and redirect and to make things better rather than worse. Anyway, you guys, kind of getting off track there. Uh, shop. Oh yeah, there are all kinds of addictions. Lighthouse was saying porn, gambling, shopping. Yep. Even gossiping, that's an addiction. What's another? Social media, that becomes an addiction. I mean, think about it. Put your phone away for a day and you might start to feel like, oh, I need to look, I need to look. That's an addiction. Whatever kind of like steals you away from having to deal with reality is an addict, can become an addiction. Crystal Jean says, Crazytown Productions, yes, mine had pictures of pretty girls' faces and separate naked body parts. Ugh. I think he concocted fantasy people. Yep. And that is creepy. That's what somebody else said. They are in love with the fantasy. Yes. Agriculturist says, thank you, Crystal Jean and Crazytown Productions. I still see him sometimes and find it almost unbelievable. He did that to me, the way he presents himself on those occasions to other people. Yeah. Their whole life is a fantasy. This is jihad, has a myth. Sorry. Yeah, their whole life is a fantasy. You guys, I'm just going to scroll down and see if there's some comments here that I'm missing. Talking about the fantasy world that the narcissist lives in. It's true. And they pull us into that fantasy. They can't keep up with reality. And their escape and maybe their addiction is that fantasy world that they have built or they're trying to build. And now they're trying to build. And now we're kind of tearing it down by forcing them to live in reality with us. And they don't want to do that because they don't get their way in reality, right? They don't always get their way in reality. And to them, that's not worth being in. So Lighthouse says, I hate the way how a narc sees himself as beauty queen, while in fact he resembles, and she has crap. Crystal Jean says, they actually forget or talk themselves out of what they actually did to their victims. Yeah, they forget. They don't remember the bad things they did. They have recreated you in their minds. They actually believe these lies and fantasies. Yeah, it's so true. And that's so horrible. Okay, if you want to compare a narcissist to a real person or another person, and this is why we talk about this, because we want to be able to identify reality versus fantasy. We want to be able to identify truth versus lies. And a narcissist will tell you, I mean, this is what's so crazy to me, that they can get married to somebody, and to them, getting married, some narcissists, they're just using it as a tool, but some of them actually have fallen in love to the ability, that they can, right? They have built up, they have this portrait of the person, and they have fallen in love with this person so much, or with the portrait so much, that they want to marry the person, because they think that if they marry this person, they get to keep this portrait forever. And the wild thing is, after a few years, or even sometimes a few weeks or months, that portrait is no longer attractive to them, and they want a divorce. Not only do they want a divorce, they think that that portrait was the ugliest thing they had ever seen in their life. And this is what they tell other people. They'll tell other people how horrible their spouse was, how mean and awful, and how their spouse was selfish, or how their spouse cheated on them, but probably didn't. It was just them projecting and assuming that the spouse was cheating. Or they might say how, crazy and awful and mean and all this about their spouse. And it's like, wait, is this the same person that you fell madly in love with? And now this person is the pit, you know, is the worst thing that you've ever seen in your life. Narcissists can do that. They can switch their feelings like, uh, you know, on a dime. They don't, they can turn it on and off. They can fall madly in love and then they can take it all away and say, no, that was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you're like, how is this possible? If you ever listen to a narcissist talk about their ex, this is how it sounds. So crazy to me because I've had ex-boyfriends, and I'll look back and I don't feel the need to bash them. I don't feel the need to say why it ended. Like sometimes, yeah, it ended badly, or yeah, that person was a jerk. But I just don't feel the need to dwell on that person. I don't feel the need to cut that person down and try to destroy their reputation. I just don't feel the need to justify why I'm no longer with that person. I just felt like, well, I'm just no longer with them. And, crap happened. We weren't good for each other. It was kind of interesting at first, but whatever the thing was, you don't feel, normal people don't feel the need to destroy another person when they leave. Like you want, you let me rephrase that, because there are some people who, even normal people who want revenge, right? They want some justice. They want the other person to be exposed, and that's different. You would want that. Um, that doesn't make you a narcissist. That just makes you like still wounded and needing healing. Okay. I'm missing a few things, and we are coming up, you guys. On this hour has really flown by for me. I don't know about you. Um, So Crystal Jean says that's why holidays were always amazing with them. It wasn't real life. Yeah, they get to be something else, right? They get to be, and a lot of us are like that. On holiday, we try to be a little bit different. We try to be a little more open to fun and enjoyment. But at the core, we are the same. We go out and we're the same person. We're not completely different. But with a narcissist, oh my gosh, they're completely different. They're like a new made woman, a new made man. Yeah. When they get to try new things and go into new groups or whatever it is, vacations, new places, places where people don't know them, they reinvent themselves, which is not a horrible thing, but that's part of the characteristic of a narcissist, is that they bring their fantasies into the vacations, and it is amazing, right? It becomes incredibly fun and amazing with them. Or with the person, they could also become very controlling, and the vacation becomes like a disaster because they're not happy with anything. Everything is wrong, to them, and they hated everything. And they're just very critical. So annoying to be with that. And so I'm glad for you that you had some really spectacular vacations. Those memories, remember that you were half of that equation. Remember that you brought joy into that memory, that you created that, Crystal Jean. So when you think that you're missing out because you're not with the narcissist, don't forget that you're the person who can bring joy and extreme happiness and a fantastic time into a vacation. And not even just there, you can bring it into your real life. So let me see, you guys. Um, some comments here. I'm going to wrap up with some comments, read some of them. I'm going to let you guys wrap up some of your comments to each other. And let me see. Am I reading this right? I'm sorry if I'm not reading this right. Jihad Hazameth says, Crystal Jean, it's an opportunity for them to show themselves that they are happy around other people by taking pictures and posting them, and soon as it's over, they go back to themselves. Yep. Ah, oh my gosh. I just saw a picture like that with an old narcissist that I know. They posted a picture of them with a bunch of people hanging out, having dinner. And the funny thing to me, though, at first I was like, oh my gosh, they're all hanging out together. How annoying. But when I took a closer look at the picture, I noticed like their faces were not that happy. It's like nobody, oh, I'm sorry, maybe a couple, two people out of maybe 12 people were smiling. And yeah, it's kind of weird because the narcissist wants to make it look like their life is happening and it's so enjoyable and everybody's around them and they've got such an active social life. And actually, like you were saying, Jihad, that it's just a picture. And then once the picture is taken, they go back to being themselves. And the party is no party at all. It's quite boring and just people are just putting up with the narcissist at that point, and they're just like, "Oh, please be done already. Let's end this night." So, oh, yeah. Crystal Jean says that hers was being faked being a Christian because she was and never walked the walk. And that's the difference, right? Are you watching them walk the walk? Are you seeing them implementing any of your faith and the good points in your faith, right? Like I think a lot of faiths have good points, and that's the reason we're drawn to different faiths. Um, I'm a Christian though, and I can speak for that. I can't really speak for others, but if they are being drawn into bettering themselves, improving themselves, implementing the good parts of the faith in themselves, then it's not just because they followed you and you're the reason they're there. It's because they're actually drawing closer to becoming a better person. Jennifer says, you think you had a genuine encounter, but they have no true self and are mirroring you. Frigging weird. Yes. It is weird. And you feel like you are in a twilight zone, right? You're just amazed that somebody can come into your life and be so real because, well, we don't look at people like they're just portraits, right? We don't look at people like they're a painting on a canvas. We look at them for who they are. And when they disappear, it's like the picture left, the anyway. So, yep, very crazy. You guys, we are at an hour, and I want to say thank you so much for coming on. Um, Let me see. There's some really good some comments here. We were in coping mode, Crystal says. So many wasted years, Jennifer says. Vibrant Spirit says they project their negative self, hate emotion, and heap. I'm sorry, probably heap emotions. Oh, I'm sorry, they're self-hate emotions. So let me repeat that. They project their negative self-hate emotions onto us. Yes, they do. Um, and Crazytown Production says, LOL, I don't know if they fear revenge, but they do reap what they sow. Yes. It's weird. They don't fear revenge. For some reason, and that's another video I was considering making, but we can talk a little bit about it here, is that they can treat people badly and for some reason not think about the repercussions, not think about, what could happen to them. I guess because they're so self-righteous, they cannot even imagine anyone being able to attack them and actually prove them wrong. So that's probably why they do what they do. They're just so self-deceived into thinking that they're so right that nobody could possibly show that they're wrong. You guys, I don't know why my pictures are so. Oh, maybe that is better. Ooh. You start to realize that the projection is their problem, not ours. Vibrant Spirit says. Yep. And that's part of coming out of the abuse. You have to become more and more aware of what was theirs and what was yours. Okay. And a lot of times you're going to have to sit down, at least at the beginning, you're going to have to sit down and write out all the things that you thought was yours. Okay. Even if you still think it's yours, all the things that you did wrong or whatever self hate that you've started believing about yourself, write those down because those are lies. But when you write those down, write the contradiction or the opposite of it next to that. Right? I am enough. I am beautiful. I am kind. I am thoughtful. I am, you know, and all the other things that you wrote that were negative that the narcissist tried to put on you, that will start to go away. Those lies will start to go away. You guys, I am 5 minutes over, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. Uh, I hope that we can continue this conversation on the comments if you want to. I will definitely be there. I look pretty much regularly just to see if somebody's been commenting, especially after the happy crappy hours, because I want to be able to address your concerns, you guys. Let me read one more here from Jihad Hazama. Says Crystal, no, Jennifer, look at the time as learning and getting experience. For me, it was horrible 5 years, but so much good came from it as well, because now you understand this personality disorder. Yes, thank you so much for saying that. And Crystal says, apparently I was useless and did nothing around here. Yeah, that's what some of the lies. It's it's what he needed to convince himself and others. I was always defending myself. I've let that all go. I don't care what anyone thinks. Yes. That's one of the jewels, actually, if you get there, and you can get there. Everybody can get there after a narcissist. After your relationship with a narcissist, you can learn not to care what another person thinks of you. Like you care about that person, you can care that of about how they're feeling, but you don't have to take on their crap anymore. Anybody's crap, which is the beautiful thing that happens after a relationship with a narcissist is you learn how to get rid of the crap that people try to bring it onto you and just keep the good. So, you guys, I'm going to end on that note. Blessings to you. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. You all are wonderful, amazing, beautiful spirits. And I want you to know that you are loved and that I wish you lots of joy and wholeness. Blessings, you guys. And I'll talk to you soon.